Blue Eye Samurai animated series is awesome. It feels authentic because the creators went to great lengths to make it feel real. The historical background of Edo period Japan, what people eat, how they write, how they move, all of that was thoroughly researched and meticulously brought to the screen. This is Vadim from Go Magic, and in this video I'm going to break down some of the cultural references in Blue Eye Samurai, share my admiration, and of course explain what the ancient game of Go is doing inside the show. And I'll try to keep the spoilers to the minimum in case some of you get excited to go and watch it after this video. As you're watching Blue Eye Samurai, you might get a feeling that some of this looks or sounds familiar. And there's a reason for that. It's packed full with cinematic references. The creators themselves are very open about that. There are many films, especially from Japanese cinema, that they loved and they wanted to share their love with all of us. Akira Kurosawa, Kenji Mizoguchi, Double Suicide by Masahiro Shinoda, Lady Snowblood by Toshiya Fujita, A Black Cat in a Bamboo Grove by Kaneto Shindo. And by the way, the Heiji Shindo character from the show was named after this movie's director. Of course, you also get a lot of Clint Eastwood Western vibes and Quentin Tarantino influences. The latter is a funny case, by the way. Tarantino himself was inspired by many classic Japanese movies when making Kill Bill, and now others are inspired by his work when making a story set in Japan. History makes a full circle here. The main character's name is Mizu. Since the story is taking place in Japan, many of the character names were actually chosen to deliver a hidden meaning. Mizu means water in Japanese, and water represents fluidity and adaptability that she needs to express in order to accomplish her difficult mission. And her unlikely companion, friend, or servant is called Ringo. That means an apple in Japanese. Water and apple. These two couldn't be farther apart from each other name-wise, and yet they travel together and even learn from each other through many dangers and challenges. Another major character is the samurai that Mizu had to battle and who then starts his own quest for revenge. His name is Taigen. The character Tai can signify peace, harmony, or tranquility, while the second part, Gen, can represent the source, origin, or foundation. Together, Taigen may symbolize a balance between inner peace and inner strength. This precise name choice could well suggest that Taigen will also play a major role in Season 2, if it's ever made. I know that the creative team already know exactly where the story is going to go next. We just need to wait and see if the show is greenlit to be continued. Princess Akemi's name shows a very traditional character choice for a woman. Many girls' parents in China or Japan choose characters associated with elegance, beauty, and grace for their daughters. And Akemi is no exception here. It's bright and beautiful put together. Now we're getting to the serious part. Blue Eye Samurai is a period piece. The Edo period in Japan was a time of extremes in many ways. Japanese society was divided along hard feudal lines, and there was no moving from one section of society to another. Theoretically, you could move down the hierarchy, but there was no moving up. A family of peasants, for example, would marry sons and daughters amongst other peasants of the same class. Samurai married amongst samurai. Royalty married amongst royalty. For women, this was especially important because they often, as in the case of Akemi, had little choice in who they married and when. At this time, Japan is purely patriarchal, and only in very rare circumstances could women own property or manage a business. Unless it was a business that was more seedy in nature, as you will see in the show. Of course, in reality, women had a lot of power behind the scenes, and the farther you got away from the capital of Edo, modern-day Tokyo, the less strict the feudal system was adhered to. Ringo, as well as others, often talk about becoming or wanting to be, but these struggles of theirs are out of tune with the Edo period. At the time, you either were or you weren't. You were a samurai, you didn't become one. You were influential, you didn't become it. You were Japanese, you didn't become one. In this sense, all the characters are rebelling against their social norms. Curiously, Taigen, the one character who managed to hoist himself up the social ladder, at the end decides he did the wrong thing. He decides he overstepped and wants to go back to a quiet countryside life. Whether or not he'll be able to follow up on this plan, I very much doubt, but we'll have to see. Life in Edo period was hard on women, but the argument can be made it was even more expectant and demanding on men. Bureaucrat and warrior all in one, Japanese men could die on the field of battle, but could also be beheaded for using the wrong conjugation of a verb. We see this burden of a self-made man in action after the fight between Mizu and Taigen. He was a peasant and one of the rare cases whose skill was enough to grant him a leap up the social ladder. In a sense, when he loses to Mizu, he loses the respect of society that he had worked so hard to gain. By the sensibilities of his time, he was right to pledge his life on the rematch. For if he didn't fight for his honor back, his social life and therefore future would be dead. He would have to go back to being a peasant. For Mizu, her box is the feminine one, but she works hard to break out of that box to be a samurai and fulfill her vision of revenge. By rejecting the feminine box, Mizu puts herself in the masculine box and is treated by most people as a man. Mizu is instead predominantly preoccupied with throwing off the box of foreign. A single drop of foreign blood was damning to the Japanese in the Edo period. In Blue Eye Samurai, we see a reversal of the trope. Usually in the West, the foreign blood is the Asian or African, etc. But in Mizu's case, it's the Western blood that is the foreign pollution she's struggling to come to terms with. She does this by becoming what she holds to be the most aesthetically Japanese, the samurai. Her honor is her Japanese side. Her duty is to the purity of Japan. Her revenge for her life is a Japanese tale as old as time, and it's only at the end that it is told to her that perhaps her burnt earth policy is more in line with her white side. The series ends with Mizu's whole outlook on her revenge being thrown into question. But at the same time, we see many vulnerable sides to Mizu that shows that she had much growth. Akemi's story is quite different from Mizu, and yet similar in many ways. Despite being a princess, she's first and foremost a woman and therefore doesn't have that many life paths to choose from. She's in a desperate situation as she's forced to marry someone she hardly knows and certainly doesn't love. And just as she's thinking there's no way out, her teacher Seki brings in the game of Go. What is Go? I'm glad that you asked. Go is an ancient board game that was invented in China some 4,000 years ago. Two players put black and white stones on the board as they fight for territory supremacy. Whoever controls more area of the board at the end of the game wins. And just because there are 361 line intersections on this board and you're allowed to place a stone on any of them, the number of possible positions and variations quickly becomes astronomical. In view of this, the dialogue between Princess Akemi and her teacher is very interesting. As her teacher brings in the game, Akemi asks him why he's bringing it, because they stopped playing many years ago when she was 12. And why did we stop playing? The teacher asks, well, because I would beat you every time, she says.
Because you learned,
says the wise teacher. The Go board in your teacher's final lesson serves as a metaphor of life itself. It's huge, complex, unpredictable, but it's limited. It's also a box and you can learn to control it to win your games. Her life in Japan is a box, and it seems like there is no way out of it until you realize you don't have to break it and escape it to solve the problem. You can learn, master your box, and this way take control of the situation. And this was her teacher Seki's final lesson. Oh, and by the way, the teacher's name, Seki, is probably no coincidence either. The Japanese character literally means gate. So he's like the gatekeeper. But Seki is also a Japanese term in the game of Go. It is used to describe the perfect balance between the stones on the board, when neither side manages to overpower the other, and black and white just coexist in perfect balance. And if after all this you're feeling curious about this game and you'd like to enter this mysterious 19 by 19 grid and master it, then you can check out this video with Introduction to the Rules of Go. And I'll see you guys in the next videos. By the way, you can also watch these lessons on our platform, gomagic.org. Except there, you'll watch them with interactive quizzes right within the lessons and practical exercises right after them. And if you enjoy watching these Go videos and you don't want to miss others like this one, go smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is Go Magic.